Hey guys, it's Tom and Rich here for Website Roast Wednesdays. Be sure to give us a like and comment below as you're joining. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Just to give you guys a bit of context about this, because it's a new thing that we've just started doing recently. So we're effectively going to be picking out random websites or websites you submit and giving them a good roasting. In other words, just tearing them apart, dissecting them. And look, there's an element here of a bit of fun. You know, we'll all have a bit of a laugh. However, there is also the other side of this, which is where we will be giving you constructive feedback and criticism to help you boost the results you're currently getting from your website. So if you're feeling let down, dissatisfied, frustrated about the lack of leads or sales that your website is generating, or maybe you're just ambitious and you want more from your website, be sure to send it in. You can, if you're watching this on the replay, you can connect with me and drop me a message, or just drop your website in the comments below and I'll pick it up. If we get it covered today live, great. If not, we can cover it in the next one. We'll be doing this every Wednesday, probably same time around 2 p.m. But we'll let you guys know if there's any changes. So let's get into it. So I brought up a few websites here that we're going to dive into initially. So let me bring those up. Let's keep Rich there as well.
I say, you're trying to get rid of me already.
Right, so this is a accountancy firm that I have found deep within page 10 of Google. So we can already tell they need some work on their SEO, but that's an aside for now. So really what we're going to be doing here is just kind of dissecting the website piece by piece and just finding elements that can be improved upon and will significantly help, especially in this case, to improve conversions. So Rich, in fact, I'd be interested to hear your initial thoughts on this before I get into it. What are your thoughts on this website? If you were looking for an accountant, what would be your kind of initial impressions here?
If I was looking for an accountant, well, I mean, first and foremost, when you're sharing the screen, it's very hard to read. However, with all that said, well, this is the homepage, obviously, so it looks pretty busy up the top. So if you're going to be trying to get people to go down a certain path, I would say first and foremost, can we reduce the amount of options on top or have a bit more structure? Because if someone's coming here, you would imagine they're looking for a chartered accountant, as you've got in the title. So if you're SEOing for that and that is the ambition to be found, then how easy are you making it to find for them to actually be able to do business with you? It looks, like I said, it's very, very busy. There's a lot of things to click. And personally myself, I'd be the sort of person who'd just probably get lost searching around the website and diving in here, and I'd probably end up leaving, doing nothing. So my first thought is, could we make this simpler and maybe squeeze more out of it by reducing the amount of options?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think from a simplicity perspective, simplicity is so important. That's not to say that your website can't have detail on it. However, for the home page, the first page that people land on, you want it to be incredibly simple, and ideally you want to have one simple call to action. Now, you know, I understand with accountancy firms, you know, there are different services that you can offer, which is totally fine. But you want to have one entry point for all customers to come in through. So maybe that be, in the case of accountancy, that might be something like an initial consultation or a free consultation. But you want to have one very specific call to action on the homepage. That can be repeated if it's quite a long homepage where you're scrolling down. This isn't. But if it's quite a long homepage with lots of information on there, just keep those call to actions all the way down. So maybe have 2 or 3 as you go down the page. But the important piece is that the call to actions are consistent. So you're only asking people to do one thing, and that's the primary thing you want them to do. And that's, you know, book a free call or whatever that first step is in your customer journey. So like here, for example, you're giving people all of these options. It's way too much. Like for somebody who is, you know, just looking for an accountant, they're looking for some help, this is just giving them more work, right? It's the last thing you want them to do. Like, you have to think about the state of mind people are in when they come to your website as well. A lot of the time when people are coming to a website, they're going to be looking for services because they are confused, they are frustrated. So the last thing you want to do is to be adding to that confusion by giving them hundreds of different options to choose from. You know, another example we saw of this recently was I think it was like an IT company or something. It was about like IT outsourcing, and their header image on their website was a server rack with tons and tons of cables. And I can see why they did it, because it makes sense for their industry. They're in the IT industry, so server rack, great. But you need to think about your customer. If you're outsourcing IT solutions, the people that want to outsource it want to get rid of it. Yeah. The last thing they want to see is more flipping servers and more cables. Like, that's the very reason they are coming to you, is to get rid of that.
Is the headache of that. So the last thing you want is to literally remind them of that fact.
Exactly. So like a better, more appealing site might be to have somebody standing there without everything. Just so it could be, you know, a businessman or an owner standing there with a laptop, clean laptop on a clean desk, no cables around, smiling, right? And really thinking about and just having a very specific, clear call to action on that site about what you do. Like, you know, we remove the burden of complicated, you know, IT setups or whatever it might be. So really kind of speaking to that problem you solve. But back to this website here. So yeah, I mean, I completely agree with what you were saying, Rich. Like, I think there is too many options here. It could definitely be made a lot more simple. Let's just have a quick look at the copy on here. We make accountancy and tax simple for our clients. I like that. Like, that in itself, that could do with being a really nice, bold statement, you know, as a header. Yeah, absolutely. We are professional accountancy practice based in London, working with clients of all sizes across London and the home counties. Okay. For all with you managing, we answer your questions, but more important than that, we answer the questions you didn't even know to ask. Yeah, I mean, the copy's not bad. I mean, at least it's, you know, it's not the worst I've seen. It's not just talking about themselves. There is an emphasis on the customer, which is good. For individuals, we complete, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, see, I think you want to, and we might see some other examples of this, but when you're on the home page, especially, you want to keep it kind of, it's okay to have lots of information on there, but try and, you know, use visuals, break up the text where you can, because, you know, if the first thing you see is just loads and loads of text, it's going to put people off. Again, people want that simplicity. They want to be able to engage quickly without having to read kind of chapter on verse before they, you know, they get started with something. So you go on, Rich.
I was going to say, one of the things they could have done with this, if it was with me, I would have said, you actually hit the nail on the head. We make accountancy and tax simple for our clients. That's the end result they want. So that should be bolded, and it should be blatantly obvious. So it's like, boom, this is what we do. And then beyond that point, you could then have, there's a telephone number in the footer. Why the hell is it in the footer? Why isn't it not more visible so someone can act now? That could be underneath, you know. We save time, headache, and efforts, and get it resolved now. Contact us for an immediate appointment or something. And then that's the initial response. And then if they want more information, everything else, put it below. Give them what they want after that. So you settle up with both people. If you're someone who's like, I haven't got time for this, you're answering it immediately. Fine, click, let's do this. And if they want information, they can scroll down. That immediately would make a huge difference to the homepage.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I've just noticed as well is they have actually got the number in the header as well and in the footer, like you said, but none of these are clickable, which is a huge missed opportunity. And especially, you know, for people on mobile as well, people expect to be able to click a button and call the company, right? So not having these hyperlinked or clickable is a massive missed opportunity. Because it sounds crazy. You might think people would copy and paste it, but this can make a huge difference in your conversions you get from your website. People aren't going to wait around because there is too much competition out there. It is too easy for people to Google another website and just have a better experience on it. Like that, it's that simple. And you know, when you think about, I don't know about you, Rich. I'd be interested to hear kind of how you approach this. But for me and Jane, certainly, like when we're looking up any services, we tend to open up about 5 or 6 websites on Google in different tabs and just go through each one. And if one doesn't speak to us initially, like within those first 3 seconds, it's gone. Like there's too much competition out there. It's that simple. So you really need to be focusing on not only speaking to your audience, but also making it very, very easy. What's your process you go through, Rich, normally when you're kind of looking for some services?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm someone who, like, I'll go to my phone, I'll literally say, and I'm going to say the magic words, my phone's going to bleep, okay, Google, show me X, Y, and Z, and I'm just going to look to see the first few results because they're the most relevant, or so it's deeming, and I'm then going to look from there. So, again, I wouldn't waste too much time. If I see the first one and it meets the needs, great, now what do I do? I mean, looking at data from some of the data tools I've got, certain things like Hotjar, etc., you can see that most people just want to act now. The scroll rate, most people are tapping and interacting, and they're trying to interact with everything. If I do a heat map and look on, say, a basic landing page, everyone's tapping every logo, every image, every piece of text, because they're just like, okay, great, this is now, what do I do? Tell me what I need to do now. Give me basic instructions. And so, again, it's all down to user experience. How easy can you make it? How fast and simple? I mean, again, you said yourself, numbers in the header, make it a button underneath the headline, really short, really sweet. Don't want to act now? Fine, read on. Yeah,
definitely. Totally agree. So yeah, I mean, there's clearly a ton of work that needs to be done on this website. If I was to take a guess, I'd say that this is probably converting at under 1%. If any. It wouldn't surprise me if this website was getting no conversions unless they are referrals, and accountancy is one of those businesses where they do tend to get quite a lot of referral traffic. But as an organic presence, if this website, I mean, it's ranking on page 10 anyway, so it's unlikely to be getting any. But if you were to run ads to this website, you would waste a lot of money. So yeah, it seriously needs a lot of work done on it. But anyway, that's enough roasting for those guys. Let's bring up this.
Give them a quick shout out, Tom. Give them a quick shout out. At least help them out a little bit.
I don't know enough about them. I'm sorry, guys. You're not getting a shout out. Right. Let's bring up. Here we go. Scott Johnson. Yes, my friend. Scott is founder of Still Point Yoga and London and National. No, Scott, this is terrible. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't care who you are. Why would I care? So look, here's the thing, everyone. When you've got a website, you need to think, why are people coming on your website? They're not just browsing the internet to learn about Scott Johnson, or maybe they are. Maybe you're some big celebrity. Maybe that's why people are on there. But if you're offering services to people, if you're offering yoga as a service, or you're doing classes or events, whatever it might be, speak into that. People don't want to hear about you until you get the permission, until you gain someone's trust and gain their interest in your services. Then they can learn about you. So there is nothing wrong with having, some people often ask this, because I normally tear websites apart for having these like bios on the homepage. There is nothing wrong with having a bio. There is nothing wrong with having an about page on your website. But don't force that onto people unless they want to know that information. So have that as a separate page. Give people the option to learn about you if they want to, when they want to. But when you're coming onto a homepage, especially for a service-based business or even for a product-based business, you need to be speaking into what people want. Like, if people are looking up yoga classes, again, this is going to depend on your audience. I need to caveat this by saying all of this feedback is totally dependent on your audience, and you will know your audience best. Like, I don't know who you're trying to speak to here. I don't know who you're trying to appeal to. So really think about who your audience is. If your audience is first-time yoga students, you really want to think about, how was it for you when you first got into yoga? What were some of the anxieties you had, the fears, and what got you into yoga in the first place? I mean, when you think about it, a lot of any kind of spiritual practice or even exercise, really, like, a lot of people do it because they have gone through some form of trauma and they are looking to find themselves, to reheal. So speak into that, speak into that and deliver it, like we said on the last website, deliver it in a nice, clear and concise way that really kind of tells people first and foremost what you're going to do for them. Because it's the first question we all ask when we go on a website is, what is this person going to do for me? What's in it for me? Yep. What do you think, Rich? What are your kind of initial? I haven't even scrolled down yet, but
literally, mate, with them, yeah. What's in it for me? Every single time. I mean, if at the end of the day, like you said, if it's a big celebrity, then who knows? Maybe you carry a lot of authority, in which case people will sit and listen to you. But if you haven't given them a single reason to listen to you, and you're starting off with, "Hey, this is how good I am," then not really the ideal start. Whereas if you turn around and speak straight in either to the problem or the solution, so what is the result they're going to get, or what is the problem you're going to solve, then you're far more likely to earn that respect, earn that attention, and then they're going to scroll on and carry on learning about you. And if you want to talk about it, then great, because you've pre-framed it. But if you just come straight out and say, "Hey, I'm brilliant at what I do," yeah, great. So 99 other people I've spoken to today all said the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Find out. Definitely. Right, so okay, so we've got some clickable links up here, which is good, although the phone number's not clickable, but the email is, so that's a start. We've got some social links as well, although they're very, very small and that would be quite easy to miss. What have we got as we go down?
I was going to say the hero as well. With the hero shot, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a nice picture in that sense, but could we customize that? So again, it either shows like how you're going to help. So maybe you helping someone do that so they can see the experience they're going to get, or boom, this is the end result. So it literally, a picture tells 1,000 words or tells 1,000 stories. What's the phrase?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, picture's worth 1,000 words. Literally, they wouldn't even need to read it. If they see it and they're like, "That's what I want," they're already interested. So I think you missed an opportunity there too.
Yes, that's a very, very good idea, actually, Rich. Yeah, definitely. Because, because at the moment, we wouldn't know without seeing that, we wouldn't know that instantly that you are a yoga teacher. You could be anyone. So, definitely good suggestion there, Rich. So, again, here, this is just more bio. Like Scott Johnson has 17 years of Ashtanga yoga. He's authorized to teach. Scott is a co-founder and director. I just don't know what's in it for me right now. Like, I'm learning all about Scott, but I don't really want to. Like, I don't need to. I just want to know what I can get out of this. Here are some lectures, interviews from Purple Valley. Again, why? Like, why should I watch these? Join Scott. And then he's got some, okay, so these are like retreats by the looks of it. Ashtanga Yoga Worldwide and upcoming events. Gallery. So there's some great pictures here. So like exactly to what you were saying, Rich, like, this would be brilliant. Like, pictures like this showing you working with people one-on-one, like that's so powerful. Like, that could make such a great first impression on people. To be able to see that you're instantly kind of speaking into that transformation, that that nurturing that people need. If they're looking for a yoga teacher, if they're looking for some assistance, they're looking for some guidance, some support and coaching, like show them that, speak to that. So yeah, definitely. I think here, again, like the focus needs to be on the customer. And look, I get that this is tough, and I absolutely, like when we first made, when we made our first website, it was terrible, it was shocking, and I'm only saying this from experience and having gone through, making a website and having absolutely nothing come out of it, because it's all about us, right? Your website isn't for you. Your website is for other people. Always think about that. So speak to their pain points, speak to your audience's pain points, speak to what they're going through and tell them what you're going to offer them. Again, like there's nothing wrong with listing your qualifications. There's nothing wrong with telling people about you, but put it on another page. I mean, qualifications even, like sometimes it can be quite nice to just put them in the footer of your website. Like you'll see a lot of businesses that have their professional accreditations and qualifications in the footer. There's nothing wrong with that. It's, at the end of the day, it's just it's a trust signal. Things like that can actually be quite good. If you've won awards and stuff like that, it can be a good trust signal for people. So, you know, they are good to have, but just don't have chapter and verse about how great you are. You know, keep it short and to the point.
Remember when I built had one of my websites built, you said something really quite interesting, because I was making a similar mistake. And that was that you need to kind of think, well, when my ideal customer hits this page, what are they thinking? So the first question is, what's in it for me? How are you going to help? Great. Okay, so you might be able to help me. Okay, great. Now, why you? Well, now would be a nice time to maybe stick a couple of testimonials or something, a few videos, just a couple. Don't just take my word for it. Hear it from them. All right, great. Maybe this guy is actually all right. What does that look like? Description of how that works. Just thinking, getting into their head and going, well, what do they really want from this? What would it take for them to want to work with me? And then just delivering it in a framework where it literally feels like it was built for them.
Yeah. This is actually much better. I've just gone into online classes. Again, like there's not much context here, so you know, could maybe try and dim this image a bit, put a darken tint over it, and then just have some text talking about what you do. But like, you know, this is much better. It's still not necessarily speaking to any pain points or anything, or calling out a particular audience. But it, you know, I like how you've got tick points here. It says what you're covering, and it does also have testimonials as well, which is brilliant. Definitely good to use testimonials. The way you want to think about the structure of a website is you want the first part of it. So the first header should be about. It's almost a hook, right? You're like capturing people's attention by speaking to or addressing a particular pain point. You're making them want to read on. Each section should be about making what people want to scroll down even further. So then you might go a bit deeper on that. You know, you might talk a bit more about speaking into that person's pain point. So are you struggling with anxiety? Are you suffering from stiff joints? Are you looking to feel more alive again? Like really kind of painting that picture of transformation. Because at the end of the day, like this is one thing we've got to remember, and I did a video on this recently, but people don't buy products and services. They buy the transformation that you are offering. Yeah. So speak into that transformation. You know, as you go down, you might then have some trust signals. So things like the testimonials and stuff. And then after you've spoken into that, then you have the permission to start telling them about what you do and how you do it. But first, you need to kind of build up people's trust. And the way you do that, the way you build trust, that connectedness, that relatability, is by telling someone something about themselves through using that kind of messaging. So that's why it's so important, you know, before you create a website, to really dive in and research your audience. If you are, you know, an established business already, great. Like pick up the phone to your customers and speak to them and get to know them better if you don't already. If you do, create an avatar around that. Try and find the common traits between them. And just speak to that. Write it down. Create a customer avatar, document, and just write down those traits and start speaking into that.
And a huge bonus for doing that as well is you will be rewarded by the fact that, say you are a yoga teacher. I mean, I think every yoga teacher on the planet has had a client from hell, haven't they? The sort of person who they're just like, I take the money, but you know what? I just don't enjoy sessions with them. Well, what if there was a way where in the messaging on your website, you literally repelled the sort of people that maybe you didn't necessarily want to work with, but you attracted your like dream clients, the people who can afford your services. They're like your ideal sort of person. You can get them the results they're looking for, and they're just a pleasure to sort of like work with. Wouldn't that make your life so much easier?
Yeah, absolutely. Because and this is the thing as well, and I think this is kind of what happens when people start using these bios and stuff and talking about, you know, like in the yoga space, for example, talking about how many hours of experience they've had. It just becomes like a dick measuring contest, for want of a better word. Like that, the customer doesn't want to see that. the customer will make a decision based on the emotional connection that they have with you. If they feel understood, that's what people want. They want to feel understood. And then once they feel understood, then you can start showing them why they should trust you. You know, maybe that can be through qualification badges, testimonials, testimonial videos, things like that, to letting them know. And then you really want to think about like the offer as well, and like how to position this. You know, like right now, a 6-day unlimited pass for £30. 6 day, that seems quite confusing, but I'm guessing this is like a mixture of different classes every day. But you know, there isn't enough for me to want to spend £30 right now. You know, I would consider at this point, I would say you need to make that free. If you don't want to make it free, then you need to do a much better job at selling this for £30. Again, and you will do that by speaking into that transformation that you are going to be delivering people. Another thing that we often talk about is really thinking about the whole customer journey. And instead of trying to make a sale up front, thinking about how you can have some form of entry point offer. So that might be through, you know, the form of what we call a lead magnet. So something that you can give people away for free or for a very low price that is going to solve a particular problem or concern they have. So let's say in the yoga space, and you were, you know, your particular target audience is beginner, you know, people who are getting into yoga for the first time. It might be something along the lines of 5 things you need to know before you take your first yoga class, or 5 things to make your yoga class, you know, easier and less stressful, for example, because that's the thing. Whenever we do something for the first time, right, we feel anxious, we feel scared. So put yourself in the mind of your audience, whoever they are, whether they're advanced, it's going to be a different need. Maybe if they're more advanced yogas, it might be, you know, learn how to handstand in 30 days. Right? Like really think about who your audience is and what's going to be valuable to them, and then offer them something of value for free. Because what you need to remember is that there will be a lot of people who, no matter how good your website is and how well you come across, they won't trust you initially, right? So what you need to be doing is offering them something so that you can get their name, get their email address, get them into your marketing funnel, and then you can then put them into what's called a lead nurturing campaign. So you can build that relationship over time by delivering them valuable content, showing them that you are trustworthy, letting them know that you know your stuff and you're here to help.
I mean, something I was going to actually add was I was just trying to put myself into the position of you know, this guy. I've forgotten his name, apologies. But basically, I was thinking to myself, well, you're right. So you got 2 choices. You can either increase the copy, make it more relevant, in which case $30 doesn't become a big deal. Or something I was thinking was, let's say you want to do some paid ads for your program or something. What about either an SLO, self-liquidating offer, so like a $7 product, which you know you can acquire a customer's details for $7, and it could just be, think about relevancy. You know, 10 quick and easy yoga exercises you can do during lockdown, which would be really relevant, really focused, really specific, and it gives them an introduction. You know, before even taking your first class, get an experience of what this is like. So they can literally test drive the very first effort, go in, do it for a few weeks. You know what? I really enjoy this. Chances are your £30 offer has just become quite cheap in their mind. So now, great opportunity for that to now be like, do you know what? I enjoyed that. Doesn't sound like a lot of money. Go on, I've already given you 7 because the gap is so small. If I got all of that for 7, what am I going to get for 30? You're creating that question in the customer's mind. So that would be offer number 1. Offer number 2 is you don't want to run paid ads. Great, offer something for free, like you said. Lead magnet, get them into your world, demonstrate value, show them some videos. You could do video systems on how to do this from home. Want private tuition, want to make yoga simple, great, book a session with me now afterwards, because you've given value up front. 2 choices, 2 ways I'd play it. Personal opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I do however, like what is this? Powered by Tula software. Interesting. I do like how easy, and it's disappeared. Okay, that's odd. Oh, I've just clicked on that, that's why. So that's embedded. So yeah, I do quite like that tool of software, whatever it is, because it makes this very easy for people to, but this is more going to be for like, you know, maybe if you've got a membership area on your site, for example, if you've got existing students, the ability for them to just come on, look at the calendar, quickly click sign up and pay. Like, I think that's great. I think, you know, the easier that you can make the whole journey for people, the better. But you just need to respect the stages of that customer journey. And like Rich was saying about having, you know, that initial offer, a lower cost or a free offer initially to get people in, and then maybe this one, then maybe you can think about selling, you know, if you do retreats and events, then maybe selling those ones. Like, you need to think of it as a ladder, right? A value ladder. You need to demonstrate to people that you can actually bring them results, bring them that transformation that they're looking for. They will then be willing to spend more and more with you. So if you have different levels of products, like really, you know, think about that and just bring some awareness to that. Curious to see what's in this blog as well, because blogs are quite an interesting one. Like, I think blogging is brilliant for any business. One, it shows that you know, you're keen to deliver people value. They can consume a bit more content if they, you know, if they're at that stage where they're ready to. But it's also great for SEO as well, right? Building up your organic presence. However, a lot of businesses have a huge missed opportunity, and it's usually one of two things. They either use their blog to talk about themselves and say, you know, how great they are, how great the company is, and why everyone should buy from them. Nobody wants to read that. There's no value in that whatsoever. It's just your sales pitch. Or two, they have these great blogs like all about value and about solving people's problems, but then there is no call to action. So people will find them organically, but then, you know, they'll just go to another company to do business with, right? So
sold on the idea, not the service.
Yeah. Join our community. Okay, nice. So you're making good use of the sidebar there. That's good. Okay, so it's actually the end of the decade. Okay, I mean, look, this obviously hasn't. I don't think this has been done with the intentions of optimizing for SEO. Maybe it has. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it would have been a decade of foundations. Like, it's very loose. It's very vague. It's not the kind of thing people would be searching for necessarily. But, you know, that's okay. It doesn't. Not all blogs have to be for the sole purpose of SEO. This might just be something for your, you know, your readers. What's this? Okay, so you've got some links in here. That's good. It's quite a lot of links, actually. That's good. That's impressive. Pictures. Okay, nice. And there is a call to action at the bottom of it as well. Looking to create a good, perfect. I think that's great. I mean, that's you know, that's exactly the kind of thing you want to see. Like, you want to have, and it needs to be relevant as well, right? Like, if you can, like a little tip here with your blogs. Because sometimes people use the same call to action over and over again. But let's say, for example, you had a blog about beginner's yoga class, and maybe you'll have a call to action on there, which is, you know, again, like we were talking about, a free download. It might be that free ebook for beginners to yoga. And then if you have a blog that's aimed more at the more advanced students, have another relevant call to action there, like come to our next advanced class, right? So you're making those call to actions contextually relevant, so that if you are getting organic traffic from Google, you're really putting yourself in a better position to actually, you know, get people to sign up. Because if they're an advanced student, maybe they don't want to join a community. Like, maybe they've already got a community, so you might need something different to attract them. So just think about the context of the article and how you can kind of use that to attract people.
Two things to consider there when you say that. Number one would be, again, coming down to who is the ideal customer. Does he only target beginners? Does he target, you know, does he target the more advanced? In which case you could cater your blog differently. But if you added specificity in the top, you could also make sure only the right people read it. So you could say, the foundational basics of yoga for beginners, which is incredibly targeted and very easy for someone to decide whether that's worth reading or not. Yeah. And you can have another one, the advanced, 10 top tips for advanced yoga users to gain specific result.
Yeah.
Name what the result is.
Yeah.
And that would also help.
Definitely. Right, let's just, what's time? Okay, so we're at past now. So guys, I think we're going to wrap this one up here for today. But I really hope you found that valuable and that you've gained some insights from this. And, you know, for anybody watching or, sorry, what was your name? Scott, I think. Scott, if you are watching this, no offense intended, my friend. And I really hope that you've been able to glean some valuable insights, you know, from this and really, well, what's this? Need a positive way to begin and end your day. That's much better.
I like the picture as well. That's very on point.
Yeah, yeah. We've got a video here as well. Okay, testimonials. Okay, maybe we even landed on the wrong page as the home page. This is much better. What's this? This is for. Okay, this is for like a course, but yeah, this is perfect. This is like exactly what we were saying. So he's got working with someone smiling. Like that's a really great picture. Need a positive way. Yeah, that is pretty much exactly what we were saying. So Scott, if this is actually the homepage, I retract everything I've just said. Although no, I mean the principles still apply, right? So to anybody watching this, really think about those things and that structure and that layout of the website and how you are guiding people through the process. I mean, again, like here, sure, if you know, if you want to promote this course that you've got happening, but I still think for a new visitor to the website, if this is the homepage, again, like you've got the podcast here as well, I think you could do a bit more here to start speaking more into this. It's a bit, you know, it started off great, but then it's kind of going straight into, you know, promoting courses and podcasts and stuff without
button as well. Perfect, because again, it gives as soon as they read that, if they're like, that's right, you've given them the opportunity. So it's a good. The top part is absolutely on point.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So anyway, guys, look, I really hope that's been helped and I really hope it's been valuable. If you do want to submit your websites for next time, drop it in the comments below or connect with me and send me a message. And we can get it covered next time, and we can give you some, you know, a critique and some ways to really help to, you know, take your website to the next level. Because some of these things, like, you will be amazed. Some of our clients that we've worked with, you know, they have literally had. So one of our longest standing clients, their sales now have. So they've gone from $2,000 a month, and they're now making about $15,000 a month on average. So it's a huge increase that's happened, and that doubled within the space of about 30 days. So sometimes just making very, very small changes to your site can make a huge difference. And a big mistake we see people often making is that they will come to us saying, I need Facebook ads, I need Google ads, you know, whatever the next big thing is. And we'll look at their website and they're actually getting a decent amount of traffic. The problem is they're not converting those visitors into leads or sales because they're just not doing a good job at speaking to them, communicating them, building that trust and relatability, and making an offer that's compelling enough, right? From all the noise out there, are you back to the lead magnets, right? Like, what can you offer someone initially to make it very relevant, very solving a specific problem for them? And, you know, again, that's going to take knowing your audience. So, you know, feel free to message if you want to give us some details on your audience as well, who you're looking to target. That'd be a massive help. And we can really kind of hone into that and look at that from a fresh perspective. Let's just see. I think we've had some comments coming in here. Duresh, hello, my friend. When is your next one? Awesome. Duresh has just dropped his website in there. Yeah, we'll definitely do that next time. So the next one is going to be same time again. So Wednesday at 2 p.m. But we will also be uploading this to YouTube as well. So if you can't watch it live, Duresh, obviously, I'll let you know if we cover your website next week. So I'll send you the recording to it anyway. But it will be streamed live to Facebook, and we'll be uploading it onto our YouTube channel later, which is Elevate Digital. So yeah, awesome. We'll get that checked out next time, Duresh. And guys, thanks all for tuning in. Hope you found it valuable, and speak to you all very soon. Much love, guys. See ya.